Welcome back to the C Morning Show right here on C. Today, our next discussion excites many women and men because why? Every woman and also husband experiences different situation during periods. Why I'm saying this? Because of course, as we know, mood session, especially during the cycle. Now, of course, some women may have more pain while some might have less. What about you, Shaunis?
I think when it comes to menstrual pain, I think I'm one of the lucky ones.
Oh,
but I experience PMS so bad. So every woman would agree that periods are one of the toughest phases of every month. Now, no matter what we do, menstruation is hard for women from all walks of life, right, Kay?
That's right. Now, to discuss what counts as normal menstrual cycle and what's not, we have MMC Hospital obstetrician and gynecologist, Dr. Arief Gazali with us. Good morning, Doc. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello.
Good to have you back.
Hi, Doctor.
Nice to see you both again.
Yeah, good to have you here.
I'm sure you are now not in the PMS.
No.
Okay.
Actually, you came at the right time, Doc.
Okay. Thank
Let me
God.
check. All right. Now,
Okay.
my first question would be,
Yes.
Doctor, could you please explain more about menstruation and also menstrual cycle?
Okay. If we're talking about menstrual cycle, it's the cycle which happen in the women in their reproductive age.
Right?
Okay. Menstruation means you can have baby. That's all. Okay. Menstruation cycle itself, it's a very dynamic and harmonic process, which include the work of the brain, the ovary, and the womb as a target organ.
Wow.
Right.
Okay, it means it's many complex things happen,
Okay.
and in the outcome, you can see at the menstrual cycle.
Right.
That's what we call menstrual cycle.
Now, Doc, if you see right now, I mean, when I was younger, I think the age of, menstruation or, the peers and my age at that time was on the teens, right?
Yes.
Like, let's say 12, 13, 14, or 15. At that time, I think I got it around that area, 14, 15.
Okay.
But now you see more younger, girls
Yes.
having their menstruation even below 10, like 9, 10, 11.
Yes.
What's the shifting on this then, Doc?
Well, we can see from their daily lives, their daily food,
Right. So food
Sometimes-
intake would be one of
full
the factors.
intake, and more specifically, maybe about the fat intake they take.
Oh.
Because the one of ingredients of the hormone of that can make the cycle is the estrogen.
Right?
Well, it's formed from the cholesterol.
I see.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
that's why you see a lot of younger
Yes.
girls right now
Yes.
already having their menstruation.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can see from their daily life also.
Right, right. I mean,
see.
there's a lot of processed foods
Yeah,
and
of
whatnot
course.
that takes into
Yes.
the cycle too.
Yeah, besides the environment can also influence them.
Really, the environment?
Yes, because nowadays you can have many more adult environment
Okay.
information from the internet or
See.
yes, it's also can affect to that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because as I said before, it's a dynamic process from the brain
Yeah.
to the
Right.
I see.
the
Okay.
womb.
I see. Now, when we talk about menstrual cycle, Doc, I have this app tracker.
Yes.
So I know that my cycle is not exactly 28 days, but it's somewhat between 30 to 32.
Okay.
So it's a
very
bit. It's still
very
good.
It's very good.
Okay.
Okay.
But my question would be, what causes menstrual cycle irregularities?
Okay.
Because sometimes it happens in my life.
Okay, first, before we tell you what is irregular of the cycle, we have to know which is the border of the normal menstrual cycle.
Okay.
That's
Okay,
the first
yes.
thing you have to know.
Okay.
Menstrual cycle, maybe in one people, they will not have the same exact date
Oh,
for
okay.
their
Yeah, like this.
next bleeding. Why? Because even in our calendar, there are 28 days, 31 days, so
Yeah.
we cannot continue follow that calendar. Okay, in menstrual cycle, we have the normal range of the menstruation.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
the normal range is between 24 days to 38 days.
Okay.
If you're still
Okay.
within those range, it means you are normal.
I see. I'm not.
And if we're talking that you are normal, it means if there's no other problem, it means you are 90% fertile.
Oh, okay.
Okay. If it's less than 24 days, usually there are some maybe anatomic or organic problem. And if it's more than 38 days, it happened there are something problem with the egg maturation.
Okay.
In those cycle, we can divide it in two process basically. The first phase is the egg maturation, is the preparation before the fertile time.
Okay.
And the second phase, we call it secretory phase, is the preparation if you will have a pregnancy, is the preparation for the womb to accept the baby. But if there's no, let's say there are no sperm, there are no copulation, no fertility process at that time, what happened? You will have the menses.
Right.
Okay.
And it's good, Shana, actually, that you touched base on this because, this is getting so personal, guys. I have irregularities in menstrual cycle. And this happens, I think, genetically because my mom is like that, my grandma is like that, and
of course.
passed on and whatnot from my mother's side of the family. So that was one of our, when I was younger, that was one of my mother's focus too. Like, is she going to be, is she fertile and whatnot, right?
Yes.
After she's married and whatnot. Is there any way to prevent it? And is it dangerous if you have this irregularities and menstrual cycle down?
Yes, if you have the irregularities, first you have to know what's the underlying causes first. It can happen from the environment. It can happen because of psychological problems.
Stress.
The stress. In working women, it happens a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have many patients that works in the bank.
Okay.
Okay, and it happened that every December they have problem with that.
Oh, yes, closing the book.
Yes, and okay, how do I treat that?
Yeah.
Okay, just wait another 3 months. If you're okay, then okay, you don't have to start any medication. If it's already good, just continue with your.
So stress plays a big role in menstrual cycle. I see.
And then, okay, what is the long-term effect of the irregularities?
Yes.
If we're talking about irregularities, the first thing we know, since it's the dynamic process between many hormones,
Yes.
when it's irregularity, it means there are some hormones works very much than the others.
Oh, it's supposed to be balanced.
Imbalance.
Supposed to be in the balance.
Okay.
Because in the first phase, the most hormone will work is the estrogen, and the second phase is the progesterone.
Progesterone.
Okay. If there was irregularity, if your cycle is more than 38 days, we can see there are more estrogen in her body.
Oh, okay.
And as we know, estrogen, long-term of estrogen exposure, estrogen in some case, it's also a carcinogenic. It can induce like tumor form,
Okay.
Oh,
tumor
cancer,
development,
Right.
like breast cancer,
Yes.
cyst or fibroid.
Okay, so you have to watch out.
Yes, so, okay, you have menstrual irregularities. The question is, when do you have to go to the doctor?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then when you find those kind of symptoms, then, it's time for you to seek out to your obstetricians and whatnot.
Yes.
Because the
okay.
irregularities, is it like once a month that you have multiple menstruation? Or maybe like my case, I could have I don't have menstruation for like,
You
let's say,
skipped
2 to
a
3
month.
Or
Yeah.
2 or 3 months.
Really?
Yes, before.
Wow.
Yes. If someone has more than one cycle in a month, we have to see it first. If it's a 24-day cycle, you will have the 2 cycles at a month.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Okay.
But if it's less, okay, you have to figure something out.
Yeah.
Sometimes it may be like some tumors like polyps, like endometrial hyperplasia can happen at that time.
Okay, so doctor, if we have some sort of irregularities, then what is the first approach that we can do to ourselves?
Maybe before that. First, you have to know that you have irregularity or not.
Oh, okay.
So maybe my suggestion for all the women in the reproductive age, first, maybe please write down when is your menstrual cycle.
Or you
so
can
you
use
know,
an app tracker like me.
Yes, you can use the app tracker. It's the best way right now because some app tracker, they can give some impression.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's pretty detailed.
It's very detailed. And this is the very easy self-diagnose at home.
Right.
So you know, okay, I have this problem, I have no problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and the second, what can we do to prevent? Yes, we have to know what are the underlying causes.
Okay.
First, is it from the psychological? Is it from the metabolic problem?
Yes.
Is it from if you have any other medication that you take
Yeah.
that can affect your menstruation?
Yeah.
And after that, yeah, we have to treat what is the main problem,
Yeah.
what is the main why you came to the doctor. If your problem is you have bleeding, yeah, you have to stop the bleeding.
Right.
Oh,
But how do we stop the bleeding? It's depend
On the case.
On the case.
All right.
Not everybody we should give the hormones.
Oh, okay.
All right.
See, it's a different approach.
Now, Dr. Arief, we're going to talk about like the big tamale, the elephant in the room right now. We're going to talk
Okay.
about premenstrual syndrome symptom, or as known as PMS, right, ladies? So, it varies. Some people would have joint muscle pains, headaches, sometimes, well, I don't have headaches, fluid retention, constipation, and diarrhea. And most of all, it's mood swings. I can cry, I can, be happy, I can be sad.
I don't have headaches. I am the headache.
Yeah, or that. You became the headache.
That happened in the husband side,
Of course.
Your wife like that,
So husbands, if your wife have those symptoms, let's go to the doctor, or you better yet make her happy. She'll have a great pleasure.
That's the main medication, I think.
What, to make that wife happy?
Yeah, sometimes.
Really? Okay.
Sometimes you just have to give her just to listen.
I see.
That's right.
I see.
Right.
Maybe
This will
just-
become my justification for my husband.
I hope my wife doesn't.
But what can we do to help the symptoms, at least to keep it under control?
Yes. And is it normal for us to have that?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
It's normal.
Of course, ma'am.
Okay, first of all, if it's only if the PMS doesn't affect your daily life, you
Okay.
still can work as a wife, as a,
Yeah.
maybe like a news anchor in
Function
your work.
well. Yeah.
You're still function well. Maybe you don't need medical approach.
Yep.
Okay, but if it's already affecting your daily life, your husband very scared, maybe you need some our help. But naturally, if a woman in their best condition, they are fit, her body is very good, her psychological healthy is good, usually they can overcome the problem by itself.
I
Right.
see.
Sometimes if you already has that hormonal imbalance, some other problem in your body, yes, the PMS will very
Yeah.
rough.
Up
Right.
and down.
So the joint muscle pain, headaches, diarrhea, those are normal.
Sometimes they are normal, it depends on the case.
Oh, okay. But then
see.
if you're in a best fit physics, then you
Yes.
might not occur those kind of
Yes.
symptoms.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. On my best days, I don't have PMS. But when I do, sometimes what helps me is actually to go for a run or yoga. Any kind of exercise will keep me, stable.
Yeah.
I would like to say that is the first medication that you can do at home.
Okay.
I see in the in my patient, which are if they are already regularly do exercise, the PMS is not their problem.
Right. Right.
But if there already has any other problem,
Right.
yes,
Full
PMS.
effect.
How about the food, doctor?
Of
Will it
Of course.
make a big difference? Right?
Yes, of course, because food is one of the important thing is the metabolic process in our body. So if you're not eating well, your food is not balanced.
Right.
Yes, it also can affect your hormone.
Right. So once again, it's lifestyle, it's your food intake,
Yeah.
your physical activity and whatnot.
Yes.
That plays a big role on it. So, last question from me, Doc. How important is to know about your menstruation cycle, and what would be the impact? Let's say if you found irregularities and you find like differences in your menstruation cycle, and you don't do anything about it, what's going to be the end impact, and how severe it could be?
Well, if you're talking about the severity, this most severe thing happen if you know you have irregularity and you just let it be.
Yeah.
It can be cancer.
That's the end,
The
like
end.
the end game of it. It
Yes,
could
yeah,
happen.
and
to that.
it could happen. And yes, I found it's in many patients right now.
Right. Right. Yeah. Again, this is something that sometimes we, talk about it lightly.
Yeah.
sometimes, you know, in a humor way, but it is very important, especially for women.
Yeah.
Yes, the important thing is just first thing first is know yourself.
Okay, know
yourself.
ourselves.
Just write down your cycle.
Yeah.
Then you know. First thing, if you want to conceive, you want to have a baby, you really need to know that.
Yeah.
Because you know, you have to know when is your fertile day.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And even if you don't want to have a baby, you want to postpone your pregnancy, you also need that because
Yeah,
you
also
have
need
to
the
avoid that
knowledge.
time.
Yeah.
You have to know that by the exact cycle of your time.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right.
Then you
All
can
right.
see when is your fertile day.
Yeah, that is the important note because my nutritionist told me that you can tell a lot from your menstrual cycle,
Yes, because
your
it's-
fitness and everything.
Yes, because it represents what you are.
All right.
As a female, there you go. Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you,
Arief
Dr.
Gazali,
Okay.
MMC Hospital Obstetrician and Gynecologist. Thank you so much for being with us.
Okay. Thank you.
Enlightened. It is a very fruitful discussion and made us aware that, you know, the menstrual cycle of a female is really very important.
Yes,
It plays a
like-
big role on us. All right, so thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And we're going to take another short break. In the meantime, don't forget to follow our social media accounts if you haven't already done so. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and also YouTube at our handle See Today News. Many more updates to come right here on our show, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.